That there was the voice of Jessica Mutaung. It was earlier this year when we had spoken to her about Kappa, signing for Kappa, the excitement around Kaizer Chiefs fans and Kappa. Today they've got a photo shoot. They'll be unveiling the jersey pretty soon, and I see a lot of you are interested. They want to know. I must give it to Chiefs though. They've done a very good job of keeping this new jersey under wraps. They've done a very good job of not allowing any leaks to come out with their jersey. So that was Jessica a little bit when we had her initially announcing the sponsorship with Kappa and speaking about some of the nostalgic moments that come across when you think about Kappa and Kaizer Chiefs. It's 10 after the hour 6. Welcome to it. This is Sports That Amplified with Andile on the Mighty Metro FM. I am Andile Ncube. Today, we're continuing something we started yesterday because seemingly South Africans, we need to educate ourselves about ourselves. We need to educate ourselves about what does it take. Metro FM, back in the day, I remember, used to be what makes you black. Remember that? What makes you black? We ran an entire campaign like that. It was brilliant. But what makes you South African seems to be the question that's trending at the moment. Here's a name for you. Ranga Chivaviro. Ranga Chivaviro. Scored 10 goals in the league. Scored 7 goals in CAF competition in the Confederations Cup. In 10 games, mind you. Played for Marumo Gallants. Many of you had no idea that this man is South African. Many of you are saying, hey man, Andile, where did he grow up? Can he speak some Zulu maybe? What is the story with Chivaviro? Because his name does not sound familiar to who most South Africans are. Today, we speak to him. It's 13 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. There was qualification matches on a little bit earlier today in Group C of the Africa Cup of Nations qualification, where you find Namibia, Cameroon and Burundi. Two teams that took let me see, I'm just trying to get the results here of all the goal scorers. There it is. It is a Burundi that took on Namibia. Peter Shalulile scoring in the 41st minute for Namibia. And you've got Kaizer Chiefs' Bimanyama, who scored as well and assisted as well. Burundi winning that match by 3-2, beating Peter Shalulile's Namibia. It's 14 after the hour 6. Welcome to the show. Tonight on Sports That Amplified with Andile on the Mighty Metro FM, we're going to introduce you to South Africans, South African really, that a lot of people thought is a foreigner. We just imagine how he feels because of this. And I wonder if it's just us here and on social media that feels like it. So this is something that he's been a part of, that he's aware of. He had a great season with Marumo Gallants, finished the joint top goal scorer in the CAF, and also double figures in the DSTV Premiership behind Mayo. And I'm talking about as far as South Africans are concerned. But yet, when we speak of national team and things like that, surely, and I'm not saying he deserves to be in there and he must be playing and forcing that issue, but how come his name hasn't even come up? Marumo Gallants striker, well, the last time we checked, I'm not sure where he's ending up now, joins us now on the line. Ranga, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good evening, Andile. It's a pleasure for you guys to have me. Good evening also to the listeners.
Ranga, I must be very honest. Even I think I don't say your name right. Can you give us your full name? I know it, and you can correct me here, because I've been saying for a long time, Ranga Chivaviro. What is your full name?
Chivaviro. It's Ranga Chivaviro.
Ranga Chivaviro.
Chivaviro, yeah.
Ah, see, there you go. We're already learning. 2 seconds into the interview, already learning. Talk to me. Marumo Gallants, you had a great season, man. Did you enjoy yourself this season? I mean, you got to taste continental football as well?
Yeah, definitely. It was a great season for me. It was just unfortunate, that the team had a drop. We got relegated. But for me personally, I had a great season. And the experience as well. Playing in different countries, in a different competition. It's something that grows you, as an individual and as a team. And I believe a lot was learned from that.
And I can imagine it's bittersweet because you speak to most sports people who are in a team sport. It's always team first. So to get the accolades that you're getting and to get the praise that you're getting when the team has sunk in the way that Marumo has, it's got to be bittersweet for you, I can imagine.
Truly it is, because you can't fully, be excited. You can't fully be happy about it because, it's one thing, getting your personal accolades, but it's a bigger thing, losing a team, because there's a lot of, players, staff, a lot of people, behind the scenes, that and it's jobs that's feeding a lot of people behind as well, So your personal accolades really do not matter when you come to being a humanitarian about things. A lot of people will now lose their jobs, pay cuts and all of that. So it's really bittersweet, man.
And I'm sure you've had enough time now to reflect back on the season that Marumo had. When you look at the season, what have you drawn it down to? If you were to be analytical about what happened this past season and how you as a team ended up where you did, where would you say perhaps there were some missteps?
Honestly speaking, I'm still looking for a good, reason to say, okay, I think we dropped the ball in this case or on that case. I still can't find anything, We played good football. The fans loved the football we played. We did our best. I guess in the end it was just not meant to be, and like you said, I'm sure I've got time now. I've had time to reflect and think, but I still cannot find a particular reason as to how we're here, and the feeling is just not going away.
I can imagine, man. It must be daunting, but it was never going to be good to play a whole season of 30 matches, Ranga. You guys only managed to win 5 games.
That's true, and in this business we're in, it's a result-based business, and when you don't produce results, you're bound to get the drop. And unfortunately for us, we didn't win enough. And when you don't win enough, of course, there's consequences. And yeah, it's really a hard pill to swallow, my man.
And then now, when it gets confirmed, you play that last game and it's confirmed, you guys are out. Well, what is the mood like? What happens? Who do you talk to? Is there a team meeting? Does Dr. Abraham sit you guys down? What happens? What are the steps following the knowledge that you've now dropped out of the Premier League?
It was devastating, to be honest. I think after the game, we hardly spoke. I don't remember any meeting after the game. It was just quiet, it was quiet. The mood was down, and understandably so. I think a few days later, the chairman called a meeting, and he tried to lift our spirits up. But yeah, in the end, you can't hide your feelings. In the end, you cannot, and we could all see that we hurt. And yeah, it's not sinking in. I mean, it's something that cannot be wiped off. I think that's why it's not easy to forget, and just move on. When someone speaks about Marumo Gallants, they can speak about the exciting football they played, but at the end of that sentence, Marumo Gallants got relegated. So it's a constant reminder, and it's very difficult, as a human being to actually forget, especially when you know that you are part and parcel of that, how can I put it, institution, part of that group that relegated the team. It's very difficult, my man, to forget. And like I said, even now, it's something that's still at the back of my mind. And yeah, man, I'm just fighting day by day, to try and move on.
We're speaking to former Marumo Gallants striker Ranga Chivaviro, who now joins us on the line, of course. We're speaking all things Ranga, but also all things Marumo Gallants as well. Ranga, when you look at what you guys did on the continent, and this is something that on television I asked my analysts every 2 seconds, and even they couldn't answer. Perhaps you can give us a bit of clarity. What was so different on the continent that you guys were beasts? You're playing teams that are of huge strength. We've seen them, in continental football every single week, yet you guys measured up to them, but you'd come home and you wouldn't be able to do the same result. What was the difference for you guys?
I think individually it was just a matter of, I think it's a competition type of thing, and when you're in competition, when you're an underdog, the pressure is less, and when you're playing on an African scale, that a lot of suitors are watching. You're trying to get your name up there. I feel personally that that was mostly the drive, for the guys. And yeah, I think it is why we did so well. Unfortunately, we didn't get to the final, which we wanted to. But it was just unfortunate that, we crashed out in the semis.
I want to take a quick break. When we come back on the other end, I want to have the conversation that South Africa's having with you at the moment, Ranga. I want to get into a little bit of that, who you are, where you're from, and what your lineage is. But I've got somebody on Twitter, you're going to laugh at this, who says, let me get it. Here it is. It's the dark and lovely. Bibo_Siv says, "Hi, Andile. I can already hear him from the way that he's speaking. He even said, Ish. He's South African." Let's take a break. When we come back, Ranga's still with us. It's 23 after the hour 6 on the Mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. It's Sports Not Amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ncube. With us, we have Ranga Chivaviro. We're going to be speaking to him about all things Marumo, which we, covered a huge chunk of that, but also about the man himself. And Ranga, I'm pretty sure you get this often. This is not going to be the first. Ranga Pino Chivaviro is not a name that most South Africans are used to. They grew up with kids like that. It's not something that is common in South Africa, which has led to a lot of people asking questions. When we spoke with Mazola Molefe here and we mentioned that you were South African, Dr. Kumalo, myself, and Skizo as well on Saturday on TV, there were a lot of people questioning that. Have you had people question, your nationality?
Yeah, definitely. Abantu mabezwe igama lakho, especially igama lami nje, they'd be like, there's no way you're South African. What's up? And then I just tell them, no, my dad is Zimbabwean and my mom's South African. Now, personally, I was born in Limpopo, Kakapani, in Lovedo. I was able to get back Lovedo. But then, when you tell people that your name is Ranga and you're South African, it doesn't correspond.
Ranga, but, now I'm defeated. You just defeated me. This man just hit us with Zulu.
I'm South African, of which I'm now kind of used to. But yeah.
No. We gotta get him back. He just cut my whole interview into two, because really. Shanga Zulu, Apache Kilibedu. Yeah? No, guys. Leave this man alone. Stop playing with this man. We'll get into the details now. We're just trying to get him back. We are speaking to Ranga, of course, about all things Ranga, really. The question I just asked him when he answered there was, does he get it often? Does he get people that question his nationality? And there, he says, yes, of course it happens. Ranga, I'm terribly sorry there. We got cut off the line. I was still impressed with your Zulu before. I was like, hey, matata, no muntu kwazi nokhuluma nesiZulu enjalo. But tell me about growing up. So you're born in Limpopo to a Zimbabwean father and a South African mother. Where do you grow up your entire life? And, is Chivaviro then your father's surname that you've taken on?
Name and surname I've taken on, yes. And mina ngikhulele eMpumalanga vele, all my life ngikhulele eMpumalanga. Because ubaba wathula umsebenzi la eMpumalanga eSasole and ngakhulela la vele ngumuntu ola eMpumalanga.
Wow. And then obviously the names would resonate better with Zimbabweans, because that's a Zimbabwean staple. It's a Zimbabwe surname that's popular in Zimbabwe, kind of like what I am, Ncube. Very popular out in Zimbabwe there. I get questioned on that as well. Don't worry about it. It happens a lot when I get asked where I'm from. But do you think people thinking you're not South African, where have you seen this where you've said, I have to stand up? Has it impacted your career in any way?
Not necessarily per se. I've never felt it impact my career in any way. I can't think of a moment where I felt like, okay, this name or surname is now, hindering me from, how can I say, accumulating sort of things. I've never had that situation. And of course, the rounds that have been going about now, since I've scored the amount of goals that I've scored, the questions, is he South African and all of that. I'd like to believe, especially regarding the whole, how can I put it, the whole argument of me being South African and the coach, the national team coach, knowing if I'm South African or not. I believe he does. Maybe it's just a matter of, me working more in order for me to get a call-up. But other than that, I've never really had a problem or felt as if my name or surname, is hindering me from accumulating sort of things.
So you think Hugo Bruce is very well aware of who you are and where you are and the fact that you are within, and I believe that too. I really do. With the scouting network that they've got out there, especially now that they've got a Walter out there as well, I truly, and a Hellman as well, truly believe they know. So you're saying you recognize that you'd love a call-up one day, but you also see that you need to going to put on possibly a lot more work.
Very true. Honestly speaking, I believe he's a professional, and the team that is obviously working behind him are very, good professionals. And it's not the reason why he doesn't call me. The fact that he doesn't know that my nationality is South African. No, I just believe maybe, he's got a preferred sense of players, in my position, or I just need to work, a bit more for him to recognize me and give me a chance.
I mean, I think that's fair. And I love how you're level-headed about it as well. That's great. It's good to hear. So for those, I mean, it goes beyond just a soccer player whose surname is not the norm of what people are used to. But for those that do come to you, for those that do ask you, for those that do question you, what do you normally say when people say, "Are you South African?" What is your typical answer to something like that?
I just smile back and I tell them, yes, I am. In a very convincing way, of course. Regarding, it depends on the language they use when they ask me, and obviously my surroundings. If I'm in Polokwane and they ask me in Spedi, and then I just reply, South Africa. It just depends on my surroundings, and I just kindly respond.
I wonder, because you're part South African, but also you're part Zimbabwean, which means you would be able to play for the Zimbabwean national team. Has this something that you've ever thought about?
It has come to me before, I think in 2018, but I'm not sure if you are able to represent a country when you do not have, the identification documents. I'm not sure. But, the talk was raised in 2018 when I was still playing for Baroque. And apparently it's possible, especially when... It is possible. Yes, one of your parents is from that country. I think we've seen it with the European countries, where someone is their parents, dad born in Spain, mom in Brazil.
The entire French team, Chief.
Exactly. So it is possible, but I've never really put it to head. I believe what's for me will always be for me, and whatever that's supposed to come my way will come my way.
And I'm asking this, Ranga, simply because you're 30 years old at the moment, right? And you've peaked. I mean, you haven't peaked, but you're on your way to your peak. You're doing fantastically well. You've done the best you've done in your career this past season. If a call was to come from Zimbabwe to say, "Hey, we really would be interested in you turning up here," and it looks at the moment like what you've said, Bruce and Bafana aren't exactly looking at you. Is this something you'd say, let me consider, yes, I would play for you? Or is it a blatant no, my dream has always been this and that's what I'm going to do? Or you're going to give your shot at national team and say, it doesn't matter where, either way, my blood is both Zimbabwe and South African?
Honestly speaking, it would definitely be food for thought. I wouldn't blatantly say no. I would obviously think about it, and I think in the end, consider it. I've always said this. It's actually a good honor, to represent your country or a certain country, and it's as a footballer, I believe one day when you retire and you're sitting at home, it's nice to look back and say I've donned a certain national jersey, in my playing days. It's a certain pride, that you get to have that not everyone is blessed with, so it would not be a definite no.
I'm not sure if your father's still around, Ranga, but if he is, are these conversations you've had with him, what would he like to see from you? Because I know how we are as fathers, he might want you to represent his Zimbabwe or et cetera, et cetera. Do your parents get a consideration in the conversations you have when you're speaking about national team?
Yeah, unfortunately, my father is passed on now, but I believe if he were to be here now and, he would advise me on anything, he'd probably say, wherever your heart is, my son, I'd support you. So whether you want to play for South Africa or Zimbabwe, that's entirely up to you. I'd support you and make sure that, you're happy and you're where you want to be.
I'm terribly to hear that. I'm terribly sorry to hear that. How old were you when your father left? When he passed on?
It was 3 years ago. I was at Baroque. It was 3 years ago, 2019, 2020. Yeah.
Was he a huge supporter of your career?
Very big, very big.
You must be proud right now when you see what you've done and you think, of the man that was there for you from the get-go, your biggest supporter, I can imagine.
True. I do sometimes think about it and, how happy he would be right now. And I'm sure wherever he is, he's looking down on me and feeling very proud. And, I just hope he is smiling and, is proud. But, I try to make him proud and my mom, every day that I can, because they've supported me a lot. And, with blessings from your parents, you're bound to get anywhere, when your parents, bless you and wish you well.
Ranga is the man that we're speaking to. We're keeping him for a little bit longer because, Ranga, there's also a huge interest in your future now. We know what's happened with Marumo, but even if they had stayed up, there was such huge interest from not just teams in South Africa, but continentally that was knocking at your door. We'd all love to know what decisions you've made. But let's take a quick ad break. When we come back, we'll wrap it all up with Ranga. It's 6:36. We've still got with us Ranga Chivaviro. Getting lessons in saying his name as well. My Zulu hard tongue apparently is not quite getting around it. But hey, we'll get there. Marumo Gallant's a striker, of course, who did exceptionally well this past season, but also has been a source of many intrigued minds who wanted to know about his lineage. He's explained it. His father, his late father, a Zimbabwean man who came to South Africa to work, fell in love with his South African mother, and from that beautiful love came Ranga. What does Ranga mean?
Discipline.
Discipline?
Yes.
And your second name, Phineas, what does that mean?
Pinial, I do not know it was his brother's second name, but Chivaviro is a place where kings sit whenever they discuss the matters of the community.
Ah, okay. There you go. Beautifully named you are. Beautifully named you are. What schools did you go to? What high school, primary school did you go to? Shout out to those. There's a lot of people, who've got a newfound interest in you. Hey.
I went to Hartford Ridge Primary School in Secunda.
And you can hear it in the back of your throat. You got that Model C. You sound like the rugby players, bro.
And then for high school, I went to Highfield Park. Park High School here in Secunda,
yeah. Listen, there's a lot of speculation around you. The last we had heard, you were headed down to Richards Bay. And then there was talks about even younger, young Africans wanting you to join in Tanzania because of what you're able to do on the continent. Is there anything that you are able to share about where your future lies?
Honestly speaking, I'm still a Marumo Gallant player. And like you said, it's speculation, and, someone out there is just trying to, put food on their table, which I respect. But I'm sure when Ranga knows where his next move will be, everyone's going to know. But as of now, because I like to speak of the current situation as of now, and I like to speak of what I have in my hands, which is Marumo Gallants. Ranga Chivaviro is a Marumo Gallants player. Until that changes, I am still a Marumo Gallants player.
You didn't have any conversations, any pre-contracts with Richards Bay?
About that, conversations, yes, but I don't want to get much into that. I think the bottom line to everything is Ranga Chivaviro belongs to Marumo Gallants.
And I respect that with all due. I just want to know, did you sign a pre-contract with Richards Bay? Was there, because I know talks is one thing, but was there a pre-contract signed?
Andile, let me not comment on that.
Okay.
Because I do not want to, cause a lot of confusion and everything. But let me just say, Orang belong with Marumo.
You're in Joburg at the moment, and there's a team having a photo shoot. Did you go for a photo shoot today? Was there makeup on your face?
Come on, I'm treating cool.
You didn't come to Joburg at all?
I was in Joburg earlier on to see my mom, because my mom is in Joburg.
Oh, so there was...
I've been in Secunda, and my mom, because my daughter stays with her.
So there was no photo shoot for you today?
So there were school papers that I also needed to sign. Then I went to Joburg. Then I came back.
So there was no photo shoot when you were in Joburg? You went to the kid and straight back to Secunda?
There was no
photo shoot. You didn't have makeup on your face today?
Say that again?
Photo shoot. You didn't have makeup on your face today?
You're breaking up.
What an opportune time to break. I think we owe it to ourselves to say goodbye to Ranga properly. So we can just get him back on the line so we can say our goodbyes and, wish him well as well. I see all of your voice notes that have come in now. We're going to be taking your calls in about 5 minutes on 060-552-7303. Call us on 086-000-2160, because also I know there's a lot of you that would like to react on yesterday. There wasn't enough time yesterday. Remember, we waited to take the chairman and he didn't come through. That's all good though. So if you want to react on Bafana Bafana and Hugo Bruce, if you want to react on anything from the weekend, we're going to take those calls today. But I need to, properly say, thank you and say our goodbyes with Ranga so that we're able to move on to that there. Timmy, making those calls and trying to get him back on the line. It's exactly 6:41 on the Mighty Metro FM. Well, it's been put to rest, isn't it? You know somebody when he's put in a corner and he says, "Hey, Andile Joe," and he starts speaking Zulu. Listen, man. Then there's no doubt about Ranga being one of our own. But I, for one, feel even if he does go to play for the Zimbabwe national team, either one, anybody who has him is going to have a good player with them. So we do wish him the very best. Do we have him back on the line? Timmy? Right, we're trying to get him back on the line. Perhaps an opportune time now to take a break. When we come back, then we're able to take your calls as well as your voice notes. Timmy? Yes, no? Do we have him back on the line? We do have him back on the line. Ranga?
Yes.
We need to say our goodbyes properly, my man. Do you have a wish, though, of where you'd like to go play? Joburg, Cape Town, or you're just sitting at the moment waiting to see where you're going to go? Are you waiting to see what comes in? Is that where you are at the moment?
Yeah, basically that's where I am. Just trying to, relax my mind a bit and, and wait and see, which move would be, best suitable for me and,
because you are getting people asking, right? So it's a matter of choosing which one is best for you, is what you're saying?
Basically what I'm saying is, when it comes to where I want to play, I let my agent know, and he's the one that gets all the calls. If ever someone wants to call me, I just direct them to him. And, I told him, Uchi Lalelandot, this is what Ranga wants, this and this and this, and this is where I want to see myself, and he knows so he gets most of the calls. So most of the information, because I don't really, answer or entertain calls regarding Uranga, those kind of things. Because I'm just trying to relax. It's really been a hard season, and it's been a long season. So I'm trying to give my family my time, my mind and everything. Yeah, but like I told you earlier, Utimina, over Monday, sesikhuluma ngento enginayo manje angifuni ukukhuluma ngento enginganayo leyakusasa yabo ngikhuluma ngento enginayo manje into engiyibonayo ukuthi le enginayo Marumo Kalansi Brian Mamsila Marumo talent player
100%. And if opportunities were to come outside of South Africa on the continent where you've done well, it's something you're open to as well. It falls within everything that you've just said.
Most definitely.
All right, cool. No, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Thank you for coming through. And Ranga, listen, we wish you the very best. You come across as a very humble young man with, like your name says, who's very focused. Hopefully, like your surname, you get to sit where kings sit one day.
Mr. Andile, and thank you to the listeners, and thank you guys for having me.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much. Ranga, he's out of here. Taking your calls now. Hey, Amazulu have just announced a new coach, huh? They've just announced a new coach. I'll tell you who it is. Let's take a quick break, though.
Only in South Africa where you will find somebody's nationality being questioned. Mbappe's father is actually from Cameroon. The mother is French. Nobody's questioned that. Raheem Sterling was born in Jamaica. He plays for England. Bukayo Saka's parents are actually from Nigeria. Both 100%. Of them. Marcus Rashford's parents are from the Caribbean. Lewis Hamilton's father is from the Caribbean. George Weah's son, remember, he plays for the US, but the father is from where? Liberia. Should I continue? Only in South Africa that you will find eyebrows being raised.
Good evening, Andile. This is Osea APE. Please ask Ranga if it's true that he might be going to Chiefs and if he knows about the deal. And is he looking forward to go to Chiefs if the deal happens? And how does he feel about going to Chiefs? Sharp.
Speaking to Ranga. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But
Chivaviro.
Me too, I always thought he's not South African. I mean, the way his surname is. But then when he starts speaking, I mean, the guy can speak Zulu. I think he can also speak Tswana. In his fluent. He just reminds me of Trevor Noah. He's
Hey,
Trevor Noah of football. You know, when you've watched Trevor Noah's You Laugh But It's True documentary, yeah, you can relate. When Yanga speak those things, you remember the lines Trevor Noah used, I've been nowhere but somewhere, I've been no one but someone, something like that. Zulu and Akala.
Andile, Smandilake in deep slot.
Hey.
Andile. Don't raise that point of or that question that he must has he ever thought of playing for Zimbabwe? Ranga, it's not possible, eh? It's not possible.
You're not picking the guy.
Look at this side, Look at this side. At least Hugo Bruceman, you have a business of Umshish. So it's highly possible that you can get a chance, brother. Keep up.
Unjani ukhuluma noSibongeleni kwamkhwane kaMgaya emathafeni bengizocela nje ongibuzele kuRanga ngoba ngiyamuzwa ukuthi hayi impela isiZulu uyasikhuluma iliphi iqembu azibona edlala kulona ngesizini ezayo noma iliphi iqembu axoxisana nalo njengamanje azolijoyina uma kuqala isizini esiya kuyona uSibongeleni lo kaMkhwane kaMgaya emathafeni ngibonga ithuba mfowethu sekuwukwesibili ngibuyela la ekhaya
madoda,
let's hope kuzokwenzeka njalo isifiso sami leso
isifiso sami nami siqhube nje kanjalo siyabonga ke ukwazi ukusithola. AmaZulu Football Club have announced a new coach, and I looked at the name and I thought, hey man, this sounds familiar. So I got onto my phone to take a look. There's Real Madrid in his past. There's a Real Madrid in the coach's past. I'll tell you a little bit more, but first, let's take the calls. Let's start Eguruleni. David.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my call, and I would have loved to talk to the gentleman there, Ranga. I think that player, he deserves...
He's listening. Go for it. He's listening. Go for it.
Okay. If I were to advise the guy, he's laid his foundation in the Confederation Cup. He needs to up the gear and go into the Champions League. Whichever club he plays for, I want to see him terrorizing the continent again on an upper level this time around.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. David, I appreciate you. I think you make a very good point there. Let's go to Sibongeleni uKwaZulu. Sibongeleni.
Unjani Putma?
Ngumqemane unjani wena?
Ngiyaphila insizwa lapho Ranga.
Ranga uyambona naye ukuthi ukushanga isiZulu akubuyiselele yakushaya ngesilobedu.
Hayi ngiyezwa mfethu. Cha bekunalento ekade ikhona ngifuna ukuyizwa ngayo direct uRanga. Ekupheleni kwesizini. There were talks of ukuthi iRichards Bay is claiming that he's contracted to them. He signed a pre-contract in January. What I want to know from him, from the horse's mouth now, is he a free agent or he is contracted to Richards Bay or he is contracted to Marumo Gallants?
He said he is still a Marumo Gallants player, and if anybody wants him, they'll have to talk to Marumo Gallants.
Not the story of Richards Bay.
Akafunanga uyixoxa leyo, uxolisile wathi akakwazi ukukhuluma ngayo.
Unikini ikhanda nje. Ngiyabonga ave kumnandi ukuba iphathi yale family since ngijoine last week.
How? Late kangaka kodwa ke it's never too late. Welcome.
Yeah, kukhona mali blue Khona mali blue nangu Ranga ushaya amagoli at the age of 29 now.
Hayi cha ngiyakuzwa na ukorile ke siyabonga.
Wave kumnandi ukubuka kaMgaya emathafeni ngoba sengizokwazi ukuthi ngile nami ngiphakamise iflag langala khona bezosijoyina ababe baningi
injalo ayijiki njalo nje mayithi nje ihora lesithupha sikhona. Let's go to Lunga's out in Roodepoort. Lunga.
Ranga Oscar Boramuregi Chivaviro.
Okay, lona libizo leo next ayithi. Oscar Boramuregi. Wamufa. Liduchi.
Sure. Yeah, man. Yesterday I just wanted to call and to the platform that is giving us to present ourselves with our own languages. Yeah, sometimes like you, So and then the kamuka lenda bawukwethu lapho. So I'm just proud and in fact inokuthatha kancane le ndaba but ithatha matter. So yesterday I just wanted to say comment on coach our national team coach. Yeah, uyazi mfethu ukuphatha umuntu ongena the coach has nothing to lose, you know. Noma ngabheka i-age yakhe, so ama-decision awathathayo mina ayangichaza mfethu phela uyabona ukuthi sekakupension mara the way arun izinto ngakhona akasabi lutho head on uyayi-challenge nesafa sifuna abantu abanjalo and ngiyazi ukuthi sometimes awulebele umsumo wawo Andile unyaka uprotector bano wanonyaka lo level ore your employers but yabengelo but ube firm. That is why I feel like corner today, bro. I
appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate that one there. Amazulu, they've got a new coach. They've called him as the chairman. Remember, Uti, when the first coach came, Falls with 12 Foshloza. They've given this one a name as well. I'll give you all those details in just a bit, but I want to take as many of your calls as possible. Let's go to Richmond as Kurmeno Kayeli Shekali.
Hola,
Nganga boy.
Nathina asiyiboka ayiboni inkinga.
Manje uthini?
Amasela I'm impressed mfethu nge-conversation yakho noPrazo losanda phuma. Mfethu yazi amasela ukuthi ungichaza njengodoli no Erasmus kanti mina nala kuMageba uyakwazi ukuvakasha khona.
Ukushaya ngoMageba akususa akuseLimpopo.
Ngempela uJack of all trade lo Prazo.
Oh, I appreciate you, man.
Angengipawulela ngezami la umntawonke ngithi cha ngathi ucoach lo aba in talks naye bangakwazi ukufanele bamthole cause i-team yami la ama-local coaches are not good for i-Chiefs. Sengibone ayahluleka. Mhlawumbe ngathi ngingonobona laba bokuhamba impela bangaphandle.
So ngokubona kwakho ilento ayishiwo kudala kuthiwa i-local ngeke ikwazi ukuthi i-coach impofana. Uvumelana naloko nawe?
Ngivumelana naloko manje sengibonile ukuthi impela bashaya udala imost yabo.
Kalisha, that's it's going to be hard to most, but I appreciate it. Let's go to Lisibe out in Ekurhuleni. Lisibe, I know you were one of those that didn't believe. Now do you believe?
Good evening, Andile. Yeah. You know, Andile, it was the first time, and I saw Bafana Bafana playing that well under Hugo Bruce. But, you know, I've always advocated, especially in the club level, that at times it bears fruit to have that, to trust the process in a way. And I can see what Hugo Bruce is trying to do. And in fact, a very good interview with Ranga. I just hope that we don't have a Papi Zotwani situation in terms of the pre-contract, if there is a pre-contract, but they will be able to sort out whatever miscommunication or confusion in the near future.
I hope so too, because I mean, the way that he didn't want to speak about that, he didn't say there wasn't such. You know, it did leave more wonder than answers. But let's hope that whatever it is doesn't impede on his career.
True.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let me give other suggestions as well.
I appreciate it. Tabiso is out in Tsakani. Tabiso. Hey, man. Tabiso, line how ngara imana man try good level lore.
Yeah, man, Kitabi so no Eburune Tsakani. Yeah, man, I heard for Ranga is going to shift.
I mean,
I heard some rumors. Yes, I heard that he might be unveiled tomorrow.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why I asked him if he came for his photo shoot today. But I mean, you were never going to get a clear answer. Nobody ever says yes. They wait for the club to say that. But, you know, he was in Joburg today. He came to sign papers. He says it's for school, for the child. Kaizer Chiefs were having a photo shoot today to unveil and, you know, for the new jersey. So, I don't know. 1 + 1 could be 2. Or maybe we're way off the mark.
Yeah, so many players, you know, I'm scared at first, you know.
I'll tell you what, if it is going to happen, you'll hear it from the SABC sports team, Mazola, Velil and the guys. They'll let us know first. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Kabelo GP.
Yes,
Okay.
okay, may I take this time to greet you. Wait up.
What's going on?
Nothing, no. Yabona namhlanje abantu bakhuluma ipulo yathina la eSouth Africa lena kithi isekenkene manje ngifuna ukuvulisa ubuto omdala lapha Ranga kithi baba izoma mebafarahlahle labathi ubathi ufuna kuza eChiefs if isingi bakhuluma isiphi thina ama-supportera sifuna usitshela ukuthi ufuna malini sizofaka mali lapha usitshela ukuthi ufuna malini sizoza sizokuthatha sizothumela khwantama izokuthatha uzodlala Chiefs because akubona umudlali wamaphezulu kakhulu wakora lapha manje bethithi sakudinga eKaizer Chiefs yila amakhosi mabasakhuluma isiphi thina sizokuthatha usitshela ukuthi usifuna malini sokhipha ama-5 rand sakudonatera sibabaningi
Governor GP, I appreciate you. Nadeem, who's been looking into the new coach, Otana Mazulu, he'll be here on Friday, of course, to give us more details. But he says the coach has played 191 games. He's won 85, drawn 42, and lost 64, giving him a 44.5% win rate. Pro Pilane, he'll also be here, of course, says Pablo Franco Martin. He's a former Simba of Tanzania coach in 2001 till 2022, rather. He's the new coach. He's been given the nickname Ncube. These two guys are going to be in studio on Friday to give you more details. But I can tell you this about him, that you can go look up yourself, that he is from that Real Madrid place as well. 2018, he was the assistant manager. He'll give us more details on that. And, of course, Getafe as well. Getafe Football Club B team as well. This was back in 2014, 2015. So we can get that. Faith is on her way. We're going to be taking it up very quickly. Who do we have? Sinong, you have 2 seconds.
Hey, Andile.
Very quickly. Faith is already in the building. Talk to me.
Yeah, I can hear he's been the new coach, but then my question is that who's signing these players at Kaizer Chiefs because the coach hasn't yet arrived.
But you know how Kaizer Chiefs sign players. They've said this. They've spoken about this.
Yes, but now Ranga, I think Ranga just confirmed that he's going to Chiefs when he's asking that question there. But now I'm getting confused on that one because the coach is not yet in.
I mean, I can tell you now, Chiefs have never had a signing policy that is dependent solely on the coach. They've got an entire technical team that makes those decisions, where a junior would come in, a Sarame would come in, perhaps maybe even a Bobby would come in to make those decisions. It's never been, like what you'd see in other teams. Thank you to Ranga for coming through as well, but also the lights, camera, action crew that make sure that you're able to see this as well as listen to it. Very diligent guys that come and help us out here. We appreciate you. As well, of course, there's my entire team for putting this together. From all of us here, Pela. Ganzo me.